So this problem in lesson 4.3 practice talks about coffee being a coffee having a temperature of 195 degrees, and the room temperature is 75 degrees, and it says that capital T is the temperature after X minutes. So the question says something to the effect of, how long will it take for our coffee cup to be 141 degrees? And we're given that equation of the 75 plus 120 e to the negative 0.05x. So on this particular problem, all that we need to do is we need to substitute in the 141 in for t. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we want to isolate the variable as much as possible, the variable being an exponent, so eventually we're going to have to use a logarithm, but we're going to subtract 75 from both sides. And when we do, 141 minus 75 is 66. Well, we don't quite have the variable isolated yet, but if we divide both sides by 120, then we're left with e to the negative 0.05x over here on the right, and 66 divided by 120 was 0.55. And just like the frog problem, if you watched that video, here is where we need to insert logarithms. And because there's an e in this problem, I'm going to use ln, the natural log. But once again, the reason that I'm using ln is because the natural log has a base of e. And so that's going to make this problem just slightly easier. Also, the other thing that we have to be aware of is we're using the logarithm properties. So we're going to take this value and we're going to use our property. So we're going to get the natural log of 0.55 equals negative 0.05x times the natural log of e. Now, you're probably wondering why I say why is using a natural logarithm of e easier? And by the way, you could have used log, but if you look here in the calculator, the ln button is off to the left, and I'm going to press an ln, which you can't see on my screen, but I want to point out where e is, and it's going to be second and the division button. So second and the division button gives us the e, and when I pull down my screen, the natural log of e is 1. Now, I highly recommend that you write down everything that I wrote so far. But what we can fill in now is we can fill in the fact that ln of e is 1. So we've got the natural log of 0.55 equals negative 0.05x times 1. And 0.05x times 1 is negative 0.05x. I forgot to say negative, but you get the point here. We multiplied negative 0.05x times 1 to get the same value. Over here is the natural log of 0.55. And again, feel free to use Desmos. You have to pull up the keyboard at the bottom of the screen and go to functions and then miscellaneous, MISC, on Desmos. But here, I'm going to use the calculator, and it's going to be the natural log of 0.55, close the parentheses, divided by, and sorry I didn't show my work, but we're going to divide by negative 0.05 here, and divide by negative 0.05 here, and when we divide, we end up with 11.956 So I'm going to write down 11.966, and without 11.96, without looking at the program, they may have said that the answer is 12, because it's probably approximately how long. So it's going to take 12 minutes for the coffee to cool to 141 degrees.